Good evening. My name is Francisco Acosta, a.k.a. White Corporation. Let me tell you, last time I was here last month, my tenant owed me close to $57,000. Now it's $60,000. We are here not because we want to evict tenants. No, we're here because we want to get paid. And if we end the eviction moratorium in May, we can flush out the bad actors. And I'm telling you, they will pay. The ones that can pay, like my tenant, he cannot prove that he suffered any COVID-related hardship or any other kind of hardship because he's getting like close to $10,000 a month from running a business from my home.
Hi, so I am a homeowner and landlord in West Oakland who not only has to deal with the homelessness, but also understands the effect of tenants who are not paying rent because they aren't working. They aren't paying it because you guys put through this legislative and didn't do it in an efficient way to ensure people who are really working are actually paying rent. They are not. They're taking advantage of it. And you aren't hurting corporations. You're hurting me who has a son education loan to pay that can't pay it because I'm not getting rent. Like, you are not hurting the people that you think you're hurting. You're hurting everyday people who just want to pay their mortgage. I agree. Can you not give me property taxes this year? Can you waive those so I can use some of that money to catch up on my mortgage? Like, it has to be both ways. I'm a resident. I'm an Oaklander just like my tenant is. This is not fair.
Hi, my name is Lynn Trong, and my partner,
Cephas Butler.
And we thank you, the city councilman, for ending this moratorium by the end of May, because we are bleeding. Our savings, our credit cards are maxed out, and we cannot afford to pay our bills.
We have a tenant who rents out her master bedroom Airbnb. She orders food in all the time we're doing work. She's eating. She takes advantage of snarls. She's mean to us. We can't evict her. She laughs at us. And so this whole thing has become a joke. So she's taking advantage big time. Not even made an attempt. She's not even courteous. And everyone says just, well, be nice, and she's never nice. So she's taking advantage of it. Every time you guys extended it, she just doesn't pay.
This moratorium is affecting us mentally, physically, and more importantly, financially, bankrupt us.
I just kind of want to let everybody know, like, landlords, we're not all rich. I'm a normal person, okay? Some of you guys up here, I go to the gym with some of you guys up here, okay? High Street 24-hour fitness, okay? Now, tenants have lost income, landlords have lost income, employment. I was not given these properties. I worked hard for these properties, okay? I knew that 1 out of 3 black men were incarcerated in America. I chose a different route. 1968, first time we were able to buy property legally. 3 years, the moratorium's been going on, no rent increases, right? We didn't really say much. 2008, we lost 50% of our wealth as African Americans, okay? I worked hard to own these properties, and now the properties own me. I want to inspire others like myself to build generational wealth, but it's been hard the last 3 years to inspire a dream because now it's become a nightmare.
My name's Courtney Russell. I just want to say that I'm not rich. My father, before he passed away in 2022, was a resident of Oakland for 94 years. He paid his taxes on time every year, never was late, followed the rules, and now my mother is left in a duplex getting half of my dad's retirement, so she's barely making it. I'm working full-time trying to make sure that we keep this property, but we have someone, we actually started before COVID offering affordable housing. We were way below market rent, so that's not something that, you know, I'm a regular person. We're not rich, not making any money off of this at all. And now I'm probably going to have to apply for food stamps for my mother because the only thing that they were providing was for her food. So whatever, we know what's going on here. It's not about it's not about us trying to evict you. It's about a balance. We need a balance. There's no balance in this situation.
I grew up in West Oakland. I pulled myself up. Despite what everybody thought, I went out to sea. I left my kids, my family, and I worked really hard. I didn't scam, I didn't steal, I did it the hard way, and I saved $50,000 and I brought in East Oakland. Pandemic come, I get into an accident, and I had to come home, and I couldn't work. I had to put a tenant in my front unit, and I moved into my back, single-family home. She stopped paying rent. She worked at Kaiser. She found out on the news that she didn't have to pay rent. She was in Texas every other week. She had people coming. So my thing is, this is not fair, and we have to find out something that's fair for all of us. So I went into forbearance. They said go into forbearance. I went into forbearance, and then I wanted to get a lower interest rate. So I did that. I had to come out of forbearance. I couldn't go back in. We have to figure this out for all of us because it doesn't make sense.
Thank you for your comments.
And I am worn out, sick and tired of being sick and tired of what is going on here with the city council repeatedly trying to do something on somebody's behalf, but it doesn't seem to include the housing provider. I am on a fixed income. As you see, I'm not exactly 25 years old, and I'm a single black woman, as you can see. And I don't know what you think that we're doing with this eviction moratorium. None of it works. It has never worked. And the fact that you can't see that it hasn't worked is appalling. Wake up, be woke, please, because it's not working. We're the ones who are suffering. Please stop this. End the moratorium on or before the 31st. This just cause stuff is you're doing it just because. Stop.
I am not in support of extending the moratorium. I'm in support of ending the moratorium. Basically, this is, people talk about corporations and this and that. I'm a corporation. It costs $300, $350 to get on LegalZoom and start a corporation when it comes to being a landlord, so it's not like some big corporate stuff. End of the day, I really don't want people to get put out on the street, but at the end of the day, I can't afford to subsidize the rent for them. So since Oakland is extended, I feel Oakland should give us the money for the tenants. And just as easy as it is for the tenants to not pay, we should be able to pull up to the city and get a check from the city for to pay for them. And don't send us to the state, because the state already ended the moratorium. We shouldn't even be talking about the state. It's the city that's holding us up, man. Got our credit fucked up and hella shit. Yeah, that's it.
I'm a homeowner and a housing provider. I have a house on 73rd Avenue. The tenants that live there, they have been there for over 10 years, and they paid faithfully. As soon as the moratorium happened, they stopped paying. When they stopped paying, that stopped income for me. I was born in Oakland. My parents bought that house. I lived there with my husband and my 3 daughters. I have grandchildren. I have 3 grandsons and a granddaughter. I haven't been paid money for 3 years. So far, it's wrapped up to $50,000, and I want the moratorium to end today.
We want it to end. Stop playing with our money.
I'm here to support my mom. We just wanted them to leave. They hoarded the house. The house was worth over $500,000 at one point. Now it's barely worth $100,000. It's inhabitable. They have a 9-year-old little girl living in there, and you can't even cook. The walls are so black, dirty, that if you even put any grease on the stove and try to cook something, you will start a fire. I have pictures. I have videos. They've been living there for over 13 years, paying faithfully, and all of a sudden, when they heard they didn't have to, they stopped. But they went to work every day. How can you go to work every day and then don't want to pay rent? I'm a single mom with 3 kids. I'm 40 years old. I haven't worked in 5 years, but I DoorDash, I Instacart, I braid hair, I do whatever it takes to take care of my kids. I sit at home with my kids so I can do homework with them, so I can do, my son's a Boy Scout, he does gymnastics, he's on the swim team, he plays piano, and I don't even have a job, but I make sure I hustle. And these same people can do the same thing. It's not hard, it's easy.
Thank you for your comments.
First of all, I have to say I'm so glad to see that it seems like you guys are going to end the moratorium. hopefully in a much timely manner than the September and whatever else we talked about. I'm not going to go into the stories. I heard many stories, and I've been a witness of every one of them. I'm born and raised in Oakland, so I understand how things are moving. However, I didn't see how this moratorium thing would work to our advantage because it just made people a little complacent and feeling entitled. Besides that, I haven't heard anything that's going to work for us, so I'm hoping that you guys come up with a solution. I've supported many city council people, but I was really appalled to see how you let the people that are born and raised here and people that have built, you know, wealth for their family over 60 years are watching things just being snatched from under them, like my mom and my dad. Fortunately, I was the person that was able to stop that, but I can't see that. I'm for both sides. I'm for the tenants and I'm for the, you know, I'm a landlord. I have to say it, but you know, we look out for each other.
Thank you for your
Oakland
comments.
really look out for each other. I'm not going to take up your time, but you guys got to fix this. Really, this is it's out of hand. Thank you.
I'm a resident and housing provider in District 1, Councilmember Dan Calab. I provide housing on Baker Street, which is in North Oakland. I've been impacted by no rent for a year and a half. I'm owed approximately $20,000 plus. I haven't lost my home because I took out loans, personal loans, and an SBA loan. In the meantime, the dishonest tenant has brought in illegal dope, crack, cocaine, stuff that can make you lose your home. He started a rodent problem, which would render the property uninhabitable if gone unchecked, which caused me thousands of dollars in pest control fees. Basically, no income while I have to continue to pay water, gas, garbage, internet, repairs, upkeep. Stop the theft now, and don't totally disarm housing providers. You're taking away
Thank you for your
our
comments.
vote. Invisible people. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Patty Gaines. I'm here to provide a unique perspective. I'm a community manager of an apartment complex just blocks from here. There are 665 apartment homes that I manage, and including vendor staff, there are over 50. Currently, my age receivables totals over $800,000, and those are of the residents who are still living there and not paying rent. That doesn't include the residents who have bailed, walking away with $40,000 to $80,000 in their pocket. We've recently started calling residents to come to the office, talk to us, how are they going to start paying rent? Because as we know, there are protections in place already for rent that is back owed. There will be no evictions for rent that is back owed. We're talking about paying rent moving forward. And I can't get people to my office. Why? Because they're at work. I'm there 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. They can't come meet with me because they have their jobs in San Francisco and San Jose. And as I start chatting with them, oh, where are you working in the same industry you worked in when you qualified to rent this apartment? Oh, yes. Okay, why can't you come meet with me? Oh, I don't get off work till 6. I work in San Jose, I work in San Francisco. A lot of people have bailed and rented other apartments because there is no eviction on their record. So they're just walking away scot-free with tons of money, and it's a lot, to the tune of $800,000. I don't think there'll be mass evictions. People are going to bail, dump keys in the apartment, they'll find other apartments to rent, and they will be fine.
Thank you for your comments.
One actually put a down payment on a house with the money they saved from not paying rent and having a job.
I'm Raymond Kwong, who have inherited a home here in Oakland. I'm owed over $40,000 in rent. We have heard tenants who said, we ain't paying rents. And you can sue us if you want to. Nothing you can do about it. When renters have more rights to your own property than landlords, then you do not really own that property. You're just making payments and maintaining it. And today, sir, we really feel like disrespected when you give the students 2 minutes and you give us 1 minute of time. You have disrespected all of us. By continuing the eviction bans, you are emboldening those who do not want to pay when they are able to do it to get away with it. And when you hear people say, well, if you pay me $20,000, $50,000, then maybe I'll think about moving. That is highway robbery.
Thank you for your
It
comment.
is extortion. You like to talk about justice? There's no justice for homeowners these days, and you know it.
Thank you for your comment.
I'm a renter and a tenant defending my right to continue to rent from my independent small business landlord before your moratorium leads him to foreclosure, handing my home to a ruthless large corporation. The moratorium, as it is, reduces housing stock because landlords like mine have to hold units vacant rather than risk giving them away free to unscrupulous tenants empowered by your moratorium as the way it is.
So this is right here.
Reduced housing supply. This reduced housing supply fuels inflation of an already high rental market and increases homelessness. It's ruining these small business landlords. Can everyone hear me? Okay. It's ruining these small business landlords. Who else can weather this storm and buy their foreclosed rental units except large, soulless, ruthless property management corporations? What this does is it's going to leave Oakland residents in the long haul to suffer these ruthless corporations instead of more personable and independent landlords like my own and some of the people here. In this way, wealth in the form of property is forced from these small business owners at the lower half or middle half of the economic ladder to the top, these large corporations. So what you're doing is handing out their wealth, okay? This just widens the income inequality gap and robbing landlords and reversing the social mobility these people have worked for. I came here and I was expecting to see a bunch of old white landlords, but kudos to Oakland, I see landlords as diverse as Oakland is. And legislation that in effect ruins brown and black small business owner reverses their social mobility, and that sounds to my white ears like racism. Policies like this that cause more homelessness also sound like racism. Protect my home, my landlord, and the eviction moratorium now. Fix this another way.
Thank you for your comments.
Susan Bergman, District 2. I would like to point out the hypocrisy of some of you on the City Council who have decided that you are going to evict people today. This is the newspaper, the West Oakland housing encampment, but the small landlords are not allowed to. So it's a double standard that you've decided it's okay for you to do evictions. You haven't done a good job on solving homelessness, but you've made us the scapegoat. So it looks like you're doing something. Hey, we're free rent, everyone, free rent. Okay, but you know what? You very cleverly have decided it's not free rent. You've told us someday, we don't know when, we'll let you sue those tenants for that money, which will be a perfect lose-lose situation. You can't get blood out of a turnip. We'll never get any money, and they will have their credits ruined because of the debt. You're not helping anyone by what you're doing. Thank you.
I'm Derek Mar, and I just wanted to announce that I have $40,000 debt, property taxes, 2.5 years, and I have $17,000 mortgage that I owe, and also about $2,000 insurance. And I've been trying to get help the last 6 months. I went to sheriff, I went to Alameda County Housing. Nobody knows what's going on. Even the sheriff yelled at me, like, you should have done this a long time ago. I was like, do you know what's going on?
But tonight I'm here on behalf of my mom, who is a property owner in District 6. She currently has an individual living in her house, able-bodied grown man, not paying rent, got money to buy weed and smoke all day, but now is in arrears over $18,000. That is problematic. She's on a fixed income, and is retired, and as such, needs her money. And so we are not in support of the moratorium. We would like it to end. And if the city is so concerned about individuals not having a place to stay, then the city should be subsidizing the housing providers by which they are able to pay their bills. And that hasn't happened this whole time. And so we would like this thing to end. And before I go, I think Mr. Gallo had the most reasonable proposal, and I encourage all of the other members
Thank you for
to
your
take
comments.
a listen to what he said.
I own a fourplex, bought it in 1976 when I was a very young man, with the idea that it would help me in retirement. Oakland's been very good to me, and I've been very good to Oakland. As a nonprofit administrator, I've brought money to Oakland. In fact, I brought some of the feasibility dollars to the Fruitvale Transit Village, but enough of that. I just have a few minutes, so I want to make sure for the public I have one thing that's noticed, and that's the major concession that landlords made, and that is you will not be evicted for having back rent. But I do want to talk a little bit real quickly about roles and responsibilities and the whole notion of housing as a human right. With rights come responsibilities. Landlords are responsible for keeping the places rentable, and tenants are responsible for paying. There's also a role for government, and that's supporting those in need. Government's failed. Today, Gallo has a very reasonable proposal, which I hope you'll adopt, because it's at that midpoint that gives something back to everyone and moves us to a place of sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your.
I am a resident of District 3. I am a small housing provider. My property is not naturally occurring affordable housing. My property is not naturally occurring foreclosure property. There is nothing natural about being forced to house and have people live in your property for over 3 years and not pay. There is nothing natural, ethical, or even humane about that. We hollered, we screamed, we called when this ordinance was being done. And the one thing that we asked was that there was no self-certification for proof of COVID. You didn't allow that, and look where we are now. We could have targeted and helped only those who needed it. And also, I just want to say, in terms of the—
Thank you for your comments.
I'm not done. I'm sorry. I just urge you to find the courage to actually advocate for both sides. We are not the enemies of these tenants. We are housing providers. We are Black people. And we are being forgotten about. We are not represented in this council, in this body. Nobody is coming to save us. So look, right now, here today, ask yourself why they're pitting us against each other. I am nobody's enemy. Nobody. Thank you for your time, and also Mr. Kalb and Mrs. Bass. In meeting with you, I do appreciate that you were forthcoming in your presentation and your ordinance. Thank you.